July 2026 will be a month of life-changing changes for Aquarius, a release from the past, and the beginning of a completely new chapter in life. You are an air sign, but your energy is very different from other air signs. Aquarius never lives solely in the present. You always look a little further, where others haven't even yet. You sense the approach of change before others. You notice new opportunities where others continue to live by the old rules. This is why many consider you unusual. Sometimes unpredictable. Sometimes too freedom-loving. But it is thanks to such people that the world begins to change. July 2026 will be a month when the universe itself will nudge you toward change. And not random changes, but changes that were long overdue. The numerology of the month also speaks to this. July is the 7th month of the year. The number 7 is associated with intuition, wisdom, the search for truth, and a deep understanding of reality. This is the energy of a person who stops living automatically and begins to consciously choose their destiny. The year 2026 itself adds up to the number 1. This is the energy of new cycles, leadership, courage, the beginning of a completely new life. And if you combine the energy of the month and the year, you get the number 8. The number 8 is associated with material success, responsibility, power, and well-deserved results. Therefore, July will be a month for Aquarius when inner discoveries begin to change external reality. On the one hand, you will feel a desire to free yourself from everything that has long limited you. On the other hand, fate will begin to open doors that previously seemed inaccessible. The main goal of the month is to stop doubting your own uniqueness. Now let's look at which astrological events will be especially important for Aquarius. On July 2nd, Mars enters Gemini. For Aquarius, this is one of the most harmonious positions of Mars. It activates the sphere of love, creativity, inspiration, self-expression, and the joy of life. You will feel a powerful surge of energy. You will feel a desire to create something new. Launch projects. Learn. Travel. Socialize. Your natural creativity will be greatly enhanced. If you work in a creative field, blog, design, teach, work in technology, or any field where ideas are important, July can be one of the most productive months of the year. But Mars also heightens passion. Sometimes you may feel the urge to get results too quickly. It's important to remember, great ideas take time. Don't rush. Give your projects time to grow. On July 7th, Neptune turns retrograde in Aries. For Aquarians, a period of rethinking communication, information, and their own worldview begins. You may realize that you've been trusting certain people's words for too long. Or, conversely, you'll begin to trust your own intuition much more. Neptune seems to lift the fog. Conversations become more honest. Thoughts become deeper. Many Aquarians will feel a desire to read more, learn, and explore new directions. This is a wonderful time for intellectual growth. On July 9th, Venus enters Virgo. For Aquarians, Venus brings up the topic of shared finances, investments, trust, and deep emotional connections. You may take a different look at issues of financial stability. Some Aquarians will find a new source of income. Others will rethink their attitude toward money in general. In love, Venus will help you become closer to your loved one. The desire to hide feelings will disappear. More trust and openness will emerge. If you're currently single, meeting someone new could happen under very unusual circumstances. And that's entirely Aquarius style. On July 14th, the new moon in Cancer occurs. For Aquarians, a new cycle begins in the areas of work, health, and lifestyle. Many Aquarians will realize that their usual routine no longer works. They'll want to change their schedule, start exercising, rethink their diet, or completely change their approach to work. The new moon helps create new habits. These habits will lead to greater results later. Don't put off making changes. Even a small step now can change the entire next year. The financial sphere looks very promising. The number 8 helps attract new opportunities. But money will come where there's responsibility. Despite Aquarians' love of experimentation, July recommends building a long-term strategy. This is what will bring the greatest results. On July 22nd, the Sun enters Leo. A very important period begins for Aquarius, as Leo is opposite your sign. This means your focus shifts entirely to relationships, and not just romantic ones. Any partnerships are now taking center stage. You could meet someone who will seriously influence your future, receive a collaboration offer, or take a fresh look at your existing relationships. The Sun in Leo seems to illuminate everything that happens between you and those around you. If your relationships are built on respect, they will become even stronger. If there have been unresolved issues for a long time, July will help you finally see the truth. This is especially important for Aquarius. You value freedom, but sometimes you are so afraid of restrictions that you don't allow people to get close. The Sun suggests finding a balance between independence and true intimacy. On July 23rd, Mercury turns direct. All issues related to negotiations, documents, and communication gradually begin to be resolved more quickly. Clarity returns. The right people appear. Projects begin to move forward. If you've been putting off an important conversation, after July 23rd comes a very favorable time. But one of the most important symbols of July for Aquarius remains your ruler, Uranus. Although Uranus doesn't change sign or go retrograde this month, its energy will be felt especially strongly. Why? Because almost all of July is gradually leading you toward the changes governed by Uranus. Uranus is the planet of freedom, unexpected events, insights, technology, the future, and bold decisions. Thanks to Uranus, Aquarians are able to see opportunities where others see only problems. In July, this ability will be strengthened. You may unexpectedly find a solution to a problem that has long seemed a dead end. Receive an offer that completely changes your plans. Meet someone who will change your understanding of the future. Or suddenly realize what you really want to do next. The main thing is not to resist change. Uranus often disrupts the usual order, but it does this only to make way for something much better. If some events occur unexpectedly in July, don't be too quick to perceive them as a problem. For Aquarians, surprises often become the beginning of happy changes. On July 26th, Saturn turns retrograde in Aries. For your sign, this is a time of serious rethinking of communication, learning, and plans. You may have to reconsider some agreements, or revisit issues that previously seemed settled. Saturn will help you remove all unnecessary things and retain only what is truly important. On July 29th, the full moon occurs in your sign. And this is, without exaggeration, the main event of the entire month. The full moon in Aquarius always becomes a moment for personal rejuvenation. It seems to illuminate your true personality. You begin to understand very clearly who you've become recently, what you're ready to leave behind, and where you want to go next. For many Aquarians, this will be a real turning point. Some will decide to change jobs. Some will start a new relationship. Some will change their place of residence. And some will, for the first time, allow themselves to live the way they truly want. The energy of the full moon helps you release other people's expectations, from old fears, from limitations. This is why the end of July can be one of the most powerful periods of the entire year. Speaking of love, July will be very eventful. Aquarians often value friendship as much as love. This is why the strongest relationships now will be built on respect, shared interests, and a sense of freedom. For Aquarius with families, July will be a time of frank conversations and new plans together. If you're single, the likelihood of a life-changing encounter is very high. Moreover, this person could appear completely unexpectedly, during a trip, online, while studying, or through a chance coincidence. These are precisely the kinds of stories Uranus loves. In terms of health, July suggests paying attention to your nervous system. Your brain will be very active. Many ideas, thoughts, and plans will arise. But it's important not to overload yourself with information. It's beneficial to take more walks, engage in physical activity, spend time in nature, and give yourself time to rest. You should also pay attention to the quality of your sleep. Full recovery is now becoming the main source of energy. The main meaning of July for Aquarius is liberation. Liberation from old limitations, from other people's expectations, from the fear of being yourself. You didn't come into this world to repeat existing paths. You came here to create new ones. July will remind you of this once again. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to choose your future, even if others don't yet understand your choice. This is how the happiest stories are born. May July bring you inspiration, love, financial growth, good health, and those amazing changes that will open a whole new chapter in your life. And if this forecast was helpful to you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss new horoscopes and star clues.